A$AP Rocky, Be Dumb, the new album. He still hasn't dropped, and he's now pretending like the album doesn't even exist. Today, we'll go over all the latest news on Rocky's new album, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So it's now April 2025. A$AP Rocky's new album, Don't Be Dumb, still hasn't dropped yet. I feel like he thinks we're dumb. But obviously, this album saw a very long rollout to this point, got announced like 3 years ago. Then we had the release date of August 30th of 2024. That never happened. It got pushed to the fall. After that didn't happen, it got pushed to 2025. Now we're like a quarter into the year, still hasn't dropped yet. And obviously, the last update we had on it was his verdict being announced that he's not guilty in the case for shooting A$AP Rocky. We went over this in detail. We had that crazy clip of him, getting announced not guilty, him being really happy about it. Obviously, that is a big personal thing because now he's able to be there for his kids, but he still hasn't said anything about the record. The next thing we were looking at was Rolling Loud California, the big show we were all hyping up for, especially for Cardi, but also for Rocky. The performance was pretty cool. He was just on this helicopter performing. We also got new snippets like Your Honor. Here's a snippet of that. I think it sounds pretty cool. It's like one of those, kind of classic Rocky hard-hitting songs. Sometimes it doesn't feel as smooth, but maybe that's just because it's recorded from the recording and not the actual audio itself. But obviously that's kind of a hint, kind of a nod to Your Honor, him, going through the entire court case, the trial. So that could definitely be one thing that he was hinting at here. That was kind of the reference there. I still like it. At least we got some new music, but obviously no new album. At this point, do you even care? Like, is anybody out there? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested in that because it feels like the more he stretches out this release, the less people care. And I know a lot of people said they didn't care for a very long time, but especially ever since this year, ever since he announced that it got pushed to this year, I don't even see a lot of people even complaining anymore. It just feels like we're okay with it. We just never expect it. It's just sad, to be honest. Anyway, speaking of the court case of the trial, he obviously also didn't use that momentum for him. That would have been a very big opportunity because a lot of people, a lot of news outlets, a lot of media had their eyes on him because that was the big story. A$AP Rocky getting announced not guilty. Obviously, his children, his wife Rihanna, even though they're not like really married, but who even knows. Then the new album, we thought that the reason the new album didn't drop is because of the court case and we could just wait until right before Rolling Loud and then he would drop. He didn't. So he had a lot of eyes on him and the fans were also looking at that. I mean, a lot of pages covered that, me myself included, but he never made use of that chance that he actually had, that there was some attention on him. He just kind of let it slip. And that was a very big mistake, in my opinion, from him, for his own sake. Now, let's also talk about this new sneaker shopping episode that he was on from Complex with Joe LaPuma, legend right there. Obviously, this has been a series that's been going on for a very long time. They also referenced that the last time they did an episode together was 10 years ago in 2015. I still remember watching that. That's insane that that's been 10 years. That's crazy. Let me know if you also watched the older episode and now you're watching this one. But, you would expect that if Rocky's going on these shows, if Rocky's doing these publicity things, that he would have an album on the way. 2015, at long last, A$AP, there was also an album right around there. But now it just seems like all of the stuff that he's doing when it comes to the promo, you can't even argue for the fact anymore that he's doing this for the rollout, for the publicity, for the media coverage. Because we've had entire billboard stories about him with little documentaries, him presenting Harlem, his neighborhood where he grew up in, all of those deeper stories and interviews. right around last summer, right before the August 30th date, but they obviously didn't mean anything because we didn't get the album then. So this one also doesn't have to mean anything. Now, he had these rings on, these multiple finger rings. I just forgot how you call them. Let me know in the comments, correct me. That said, don't dumb. He forgot the B, but maybe he's dumb. So, you know, he's even referencing his album in this new Complex video, but like you don't even talk about it at all in the actual video. Honestly, they didn't even talk about new music to the point that it feels like he told Joe LaPuma and Complex beforehand that he didn't want to talk about it, which could obviously very well be because he doesn't want to get into any sort of weird situations where he has to explain himself or say some stuff that he wouldn't want to be out. But it feels very suspicious because that is what you would ask someone who hasn't dropped the record in 7 years. That's insane. So the question really is, what now? When is this album coming out? You know, he's also obviously not doing Coachella, which is coming up this upcoming weekend and the weekend after. So that would have been the next possible chance for him to perform something, for him to have some material out that he could then perform there, or for him to preview some new music. I mean, that's not even a question. He was never on the lineup, so I'm not even mad about it. But I'm just saying, there's no pressure right now. I mean, before the court case, we had the court case as the reason that it didn't drop. Then after that, we had Rolling Loud California as kind of a reason why he would wait until then to preview new music. He did do that to some extent, to be fair to him. But still, now we don't even have anything. You know, there's no big festival coming up that he's performing at. There's no big event in his life or in hip-hop that he could be referencing or that could mean something when it comes to the release. So there's really no pressure at all right now for him to drop this record. So that's really the bad sign right now. But obviously, we still got some hope left. We still could see a 2025 release. At this point, honestly, I imagine a 2026 release for Don't Be Dumb. That would be fatal. I mean, that would then mean 8 years, no new release. That would be crazy. But still, there is some hope left. Maybe during the summer, Rocky's someone that usually also has some release dates covered up all throughout summer. That's usually the time he drops, at least if we're going from testing. So there's still some chance, but still, I'll keep you updated if we learn anything more about this. So make sure you stay subscribed. But until the next one, I do want to know what y'all think about this. Do you think that Don't Be Dumb is still coming in 2025? Do you think that all of these promo videos he's doing right now, every story that he's going on, especially when it comes to this Complex thing, that means anything, that's part of the rollout, like usually it is, also like it was last summer when he did the Billboard thing, which then never actually became anything? But all of your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.